All right, Brandon, we're going to watch your side view here above the water. Now, as we start to come above the water here, one of the things we really like, we love how straight those arms are and they're just recovering right above the water. That's excellent. On the other side, Brandon, you can see how high your head is in that water. Lynette does a lot of that body dolphin drill, right, where you kind of hold the kickboard up front, you really work at sinking that head, and that's one of the reasons why we do the body dolphin. We want the head position to be a little bit lower in the water when we're not breathing. So work on just keeping your head a little bit lower, but great job there with your arms. As you come in and you enter the water, you can see your hands are fully extended. They're right at shoulder width apart, so that looks good. I know we had some where we looked like they were a little bit too close together right here. They look excellent above the water, so that's really, really good, Brandon. All right, so goggles just come above the water. And if you can tell, kind of watch your tracking of your arm, your hands are almost about 3/4 of the way through there with your pull. And now you're just starting to get that head up. One thing to try to tell kids and remind people is when we're doing a pull-up with a pull-up bar, the first thing we start to pull up is that head. So as your hands start to pull through that water up at the top, you want to start getting that head up a little bit earlier. If you get your head up earlier, then when your hands come out of the water, right here, instead of having your head still fully up, your head's already going down. And here, your head's going to be up a little bit too high, and you can even see the top part of that chest is a little bit high as well. So just work on keeping your chin skating right above the surface of the water. Okay, so instead of having all the way up here, make sure that chin is right about there. As we start to get that head down, we can see that our left hand entered just a shade earlier than the right hand, so we do got to be careful. Make sure those hands are going in together. But look at your head is still pretty much fully above the water. And so that's part of what happens when you breathe late, you get your head down late as well. So we got to work on getting that head down a little bit quicker and a little bit earlier. That first kick is so good and strong, Brandon. Let's make sure we work on that second kick. Make sure that second kick is just a little bit stronger. But you can see good kick and then a little kick. Good kick and then a little kick. So work on that second kick. And I think we're going to see it get better and better. All right, so again, as we get to that pull, you're still kind of kicking in that wall. So we've got to be able to judge that wall a little bit better. Because what you got to be careful of is if you kick too far and your hands separate and come back in together, that's going to be underwater recovery. So we got to be careful with how we swim into that wall. As we do the turn here, let's look. Middle part of your back is above the water. Ideally, if you're doing your turns correctly, your shoulders are at water depth, which is back in here. And then your eyes are looking this direction here, and you want to focus on your hand that's on the wall. So when Lynette talks about elbowing your brother and calling your mother, the idea is to watch that hand come off that wall. It's not just to look wherever you want. So you should be looking at that hand that's left on the wall. Now the other thing here, you can see that it took a long time to get that hand off that wall. Your feet are a little bit, here's your knee this way, here's your knee this way, and your eyes are over here. Watch that hand. As you're ready to push off the wall here, you can see you're, again, completely on your stomach. Hips are a little high in that water, and that hand is crossing in front of your face, not really behind your ear. So that's 4 dolphin kicks, first stroke with the breath, and again, you can see this is a perfect example of really how late that breath is. Okay, here where the flags are, right in line there. So you're right at the flags. We've got to make sure we get a little bit further past. So if you hold that streamline for 2 to 3 seconds, and then 6 dolphin kicks, not 3 or 4, and then 1 stroke without a breath, and then start swimming, you'll end up coming up right about here, which really, that's going to be about 2 less strokes, Brandon. So keep working at extending your underwaters. Again, you can see how high your head's still up when your hands are almost forward, and then your hands are in just when your head starts to go in. And the other thing you can see is really how bent those knees are. Okay, so just work on breathing earlier. Again, your hand entry, Brandon, so good. And this is probably the best example right here of where your hands are entering, and we absolutely love that. Boom. Right at shoulder width apart. Brandon, well done, buddy. Keep it up.